Let's talk about one of the most stressful parts of being a parent, the mess. It's constant, it's relentless, and what if I told you that our whole approach to it might be wrong? We're going to unpack how changing our relationship with spills and stains could actually be the key to unlocking our children's full potential. So, I want to kick things off with a pretty bold question. I know, it sounds a little dramatic, right? Is my laundry pile getting in the way of my kid's development? But what if the answer was kind of yeah? What if that mountain of clothes is a sign of something much, much bigger than just another chore? Okay, let me paint a picture. I'm sure we've all been here. It's 8:47 in the morning. You are so late for work. And of course, that's the exact moment your toddler decides to pour their entire breakfast down the front of their clean clothes. That spike of stress, that immediate feeling of chaos, that one moment, it's basically the whole daily battle in a nutshell. And that really brings us to what we're calling the daily mess crisis. Because, this isn't about one spilled bowl of cereal. It's this chronic, grinding problem for modern parents. And when you see the numbers, they're staggering. So what is the actual time cost of all these messes? Well, if you add up the emergency outfit changes, the extra loads of laundry, parents are spending somewhere between 19 and 46 hours a month just dealing with spills. For a lot of us, that's more than a full work week, just gone. And this isn't just about being busy, it's doing real damage. The US Surgeon General has actually flagged parental stress as a public health crisis. And get this, almost half of all parents feel totally overwhelmed most days. That constant low-level anxiety about the next mess is a huge part of that burnout. Okay, but here is the big twist in the story. While we're over here stressing about the cleanup, something absolutely incredible is happening inside our kid's brain. So let's get into the hidden science that makes putting up with all this chaos so important. Now, this number is just wild. In the first few years of life, a child's brain is forming over 1 million new neural connections every single second. Think about that. Every texture they feel, every mud pie they make, it's literally building the architecture of their mind. And this whole process is way more complex than you'd think. We all know the 5 senses, right? Sight, sound, smell, and so on. But it turns out, messy sensory play is crucial for 2 hidden senses, the vestibular system, which is all about balance, and the proprioceptive system, which is how we know where our body is in space. Squishing things, pouring things, that is literally how the brain wires up these fundamental skills. So when we say, oh, be careful, don't get dirty, we're not just trying to avoid laundry. We are, completely unintentionally, putting the brakes on experiences that build everything from problem solving and motor skills to emotional regulation and even the words they use to describe their world. And this quote from a developmental pediatrician, Dr. Priya Mehta, just nails it. She says the biggest difference she sees in kids who are hitting their milestones isn't their genes or how much money their parents make, it's mess tolerance. It's whether they were allowed to explore. And all of this leads to this just impossible situation that so many of us are stuck in. We can call it the modern parent's dilemma. We know the mess is good for them, but we feel like we are literally drowning in the fallout. And the data tells the exact same story. 57% of parents say they feel burned out. And one of the biggest factors linked to that burnout, you guessed it, the pressure to keep the house clean. It's a direct conflict between our sanity and their development. This quote from a working mom on Jolly just says it all, doesn't it? It's this vicious cycle of guilt. You feel guilty if you use screens to avoid a mess, but you're just too wiped out to deal with the aftermath of messy play. It really feels like there's no way to win. So, what if there was a way to break that cycle? This brings us to something that could be a total game changer. A technological breakthrough that lets us look at the whole problem differently. This is the key. This one question reframes everything. What if the goal wasn't to stop the spill from happening? What if, instead, we could just get rid of the stressful part, the stain, the wet clothes, the extra laundry? What if you could remove the consequence of the mess instead of the mess itself? Well, this is where a little material science comes in. There's this technology, often called DWR, or durable water repellent fabric, and it's pretty simple. Instead of a spill soaking in and staining, the liquid just beads up right on the surface. You can literally just wipe it away, and the clothes underneath are perfectly clean and dry. It's kind of magic. And now think about the ripple effect of that. We're not just talking about one clean shirt. We're talking about reducing those emergency outfit changes by 70%, cutting your laundry loads in half, saving money because you're not constantly replacing stained clothes.
This tech targets the exact logistical nightmares that cause all the stress.
And, when you take away those logistical headaches, something really amazing starts to happen. You give families the one thing they've been missing: permission to get messy. I love this story from a mom named Neha. She really wanted to do baby-led weaning, which is amazing for development, but, it is unbelievably messy. But by taking away the fear of ruining every single outfit, she could just say yes. And the result? Her daughter is a super adventurous eater with incredible fine motor skills. And here's the proof in the data. A community did this experiment where they tracked how much time kids spent playing outside before and after their families started using this kind of gear. And just look at that jump, from 23 minutes a day to 67 minutes. It wasn't that parents didn't want their kids outside, it was that the barrier, that huge pile of muddy laundry, was gone.
This all gets at an idea you could call the energy economics of parenting. Look, we all have a finite amount of energy every day. We can spend it on these low-value, draining tasks like scrubbing stains and stressing about spills, or we can save it and spend it on the high-value stuff, the engaged play, the teaching moments, the bedtime stories.
And that's what we mean by strategic parenting. It's not about being lazy or doing less. It's about being smart. It's about using tools to cut out the friction on the tasks that don't matter, so you have more in the tank for the moments that really, truly do. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful truth. The mud, the yogurt, the paint, all of it is temporary. It washes away. But those neural connections that are being forged while they're making that mess, that's permanent. That is the foundation they'll build on for the rest of their lives. So I'll just leave you with this one final question to think about. What's one messy thing you almost always say no to just because you dread the cleanup? And what do you think might happen for them and for you if you found a way to turn that no into a yes?